So I recently posted a poll on Twitter asking if you guys would be interested in me doing a video for my 100 subscribers special talking about how I got into creepypasta and everything, and all of you guys voted yes. So in that video, or in this video, I'm going to be discussing how I got into creepypasta. And by the way, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, make sure to do that. There will be a link in the description. So anyway, let's get this video started. However, before I start the video, I think it's important that I, state how I found creepypasta and everything. I originally discovered a creepypasta by incidentally clicking on a YouTube video that was uploaded by the YouTuber named Matthew Santorio. I think I said that name right, I hope so. And his video is titled Top 10 Freakiest Creepypasta, or what was it called? Top 10 Freakiest Creepypastas Ever Told. And as I was watching his videos on it, because he did make several videos on the topic, I was just thinking how, creepypasta really seemed like something that would interest me, and fast forward to present day, here we are, and I'm a huge fan of creepypasta, and I have a whole YouTube channel based around creepypasta, so turns out my prediction back then was right. So anyway, let's move on. Anyway, what really got me into creepypasta was listening to a narration, and the narration was done by Mr. Creepypasta. The narration was of the classic creepypasta Smile Dog. It was a really entertaining creepypasta to me, and it was actually, a freaky story in my opinion. Compared to a lot of scary movies I had seen at the time, this was actually genuinely a pretty scary creepypasta in my opinion. Of course, seeing fan art of Smile Dog has changed my mind, but yeah, you get the point. That when I discovered creepypasta, when I was listening to narrations of stories, I was thinking how much better these stories were than actual movies, and I was shocked to actually see that there was stories on the internet that were actually 10 times better than modern day movies. And yeah, ever since then I've just been a huge fan of creepypasta. Of course, when I was newer to creepypasta at the time, I didn't really read the stories, I more or less just listened to narrations, and the reason for that of me just listening to narrations, I thought narrators just did a way better job of reading the stories than I ever could. So at the time, I just felt like, you know what, I might as well just listen to a narration because they're just gonna do a better job reading it than I would anyway. So there I would be, just listening to narrations. Because again, and another reason for me listening to narrations was that they were good at reading the story. They added music which just really added on to the story, and for a while I just listened to narrations because honestly it was enjoyable for me, and it still is enjoyable for me to this day. And a few creepypasta narrators I really enjoyed was Mr. Creepypasta, Clancy Pasta, and Creepypasta Jr., and I still listen to those three main narrators today. And in the timeline of me enjoying creepypasta, there was this weird cutoff. Now let me describe what I mean. When I was into creepypasta at the time, there was a year where I just kinda stopped listening to creepypasta narrations and stopped reading stories for about, I wouldn't say a year, but a good couple months I just stopped with creepypasta. And what got me back into creepypasta was, well, ironically, going to a quiz on Quotive and taking a creepypasta-related quiz. And I really enjoyed the quiz. And that's how I more or less discovered the whole creepypasta character thing, was from Quotive. And for that, I will thank Quotive, because there is quite a bit of creepypasta characters I like. However, there's still some creepypasta characters I still do have a strong dislike for, such as Sonic.exe, Tailsdoll, and Jeff the Killer, but that will be a different topic for a different video. But yeah, how I really discovered the whole creepypasta characters and what got me back into creepypasta was, ironically, taking a quiz on Quotive. and I actually did make an account on there, and it's still existing to this day. And if you want to follow me on there, I will leave a link in the description. Now I'll warn you though, I don't really use Quotive anymore, so I'm not too active on there. But yeah. And fast forward a couple months later after taking that Quotive quiz, because at that point I was very active on there. And again, fast forward a couple months later, I wanted to start narrating creepypastas for some reason. I don't exactly remember why I wanted to do it. I more or less just remember I just wanted to do it for the heck of it. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see if it would work on my channel. Because if you didn't know at the time, I was a vlogging and reviewing channel. But I didn't get anywhere. All I had was 20 subscribers, and nothing was going anywhere. I would hardly break 10 views a video. I would hardly get 1 like on a video. And I tried out a creepypasta narration on my channel, Eyeless Jack. Fun fact, that was the very first creepypasta story I ever narrated, and it actually is still on my channel to this day. Of course, I re-narrated it a couple of days back, but yeah. And as I did the Eyeless Jack narration, it was considered to my modern day videos, it's pretty poor and pretty bad, but at the time I was actually proud of the video, and I just kept making more and more and more. And over time, I actually started to gain an audience and all that stuff. Of course, you can't really see my vlogs that I used to have on my channel because I deleted them because they were cringe and they were horrible, and my reviews were also horrible, so you won't be able to find those. But yeah, just pretty much I started my creepypasta narrations off with one video. I kept doing it, and more people started watching them. And that's pretty much how I got to where I am today. Anyway, I think I've been going on for long enough. I described how I discovered creepypasta. I described what got me into creepypasta. I described, how I got to do what I'm doing today, which is narrating. And I did all that stuff. And plus this video is going on 8 minutes long. And yeah, anyway, that's it. I got one more thing before I leave. Just one more thing, I promise. To any new subscribers or any new watchers, I did recently make an amino community, and if you want to join it, please go to the link in the description. Or if you don't want to go to the link for some reason, then the group is called Zero Creepypasta Fandom. And anyway, I'll see you next time.